notices her reaction and that she is not defending herself. He puts his shoes on the table in a manner to create a noise and addresses Tiamba, saying that his breath smells too bad and asks if he had not brushed his teeth when he got up. Tiamba stops laughing. He adds that he is so old, but he has the nerve to talk such trash to a young girl. He calls him a scumbag. Tiamba feels insulted and says although Yunmu is a guest and a major general, he is still an outsider, so he should not be the one to interfere. When they speak in Tanyan City, Yunmu stays calm and asks who is the outsider and how there can be an outsider. He announces that he is starting from today as a representative of the Lai family. He has joined the Tanyan City. Tiamba laughs and asks if he has agreed to join. He replies that he just talked to the old city lord and he thinks he is nice. He and Yunmu have got along. Tiamba does not stop teasing him. He says that since they are all members of the same family, they should be allowed to see the heritage of the Lai family. Yunmu replies that Tiamba is a pain and then asks what he wants. He replies that his demand is simple. He just wants to meet a senior member of the Lai family. After all, joining Tanyan City is a matter for the entire family. Yunmu asks the Shadow Queen if she is there. She replies yes. He tells her his plan and asks her to wait for his signal. Tiamba adds that it is only logical that the family's elders should be present in such matters. He says he will give him what he wants. The elder of the Kane clan is shocked and asks if there is a chance to meet the great master of the Lai family. He orders a servant to prepare a car. Yunmu laughs and asks what era he is living in. He requests him to help him prepare 3 sticks of incense. Yunmu takes burning those sticks of incense in his hand and asks his sister to come here. He starts dancing and singing some verses. They all wonder what he is doing. Tiamba looks at him and laughs. He asks what time it is now that he is still doing that godly thing. He also makes fun of his sister. Yunmu starts laughing suddenly and says it will satisfy him soon. All of a sudden, a portal opens and a hand comes out of it. Then a blast takes place. Yunmu says he is now introducing the Lai family's little sister, Lai Linglong. All of them there wonder what kind of cultivation this is. A representative thinks it is unbelievable that a young lady has such power. He is amazed by seeing the Lai family's strength. Tiamba gets up and coughs blood. Yunmu looks at him, laughs, and says his sister is not easy to mess with, but seeing that he insists on playing, she gently applies some force. He asks Tiamba if he is satisfied now. He coughs and thanks him for not killing him. Yunmu requests her to take her off now, and she disappears. Deep down, he feels sad as the little girl consumes the points he saved. He realizes that it costs a price to pretend to be forceful. The clan's elder calls Yunmu's joining great and says now he will see how they play with them. Yunmu shies away and says since he has agreed to join. What about the Acropolis and what he said before? They reply that he needs not worry as they will not return to their words. Yunmu reminds him that he also promised him 10 secret books. It's already late today, so they ask him to stay here overnight at the city lord's house. He has been taken to the guest room to rest, which King Yu has arranged for him. He reads the name Red Rain Pavilion and says it is such a modern name for such a European villa. He thinks that the old lord is weird. The servant leaves him there. As he opens the door, 2 girls greet him. He gets scared and asks them who they are. They say they are twins and are the most beautiful maids of the city lord. He feels uncomfortable seeing them like this and asks if they think they are filming The Legend of the Deer. The green-haired girl says she is the big twin, and the blue-haired is the little twin. They are sent by the sister to serve the master. He is shocked to hear that and asks to reassure him what they called him. They reply master. He takes a defensive position and tells them not to shout as he is not their master, and they have no right to call him master. They suddenly start taking off his clothes. He asks why they are doing this to him. They laugh and say it is to serve the master in the bath. They take him to the bathroom and wash his body with their hands. It is a nerve-wracking moment for him. Yunmu cannot stand it anymore and says she can wash it. The little twin replies that it is not good enough. They have got a special order from the sister. She whispers in his ear that the sister has told them to serve the master well. Yunmu turns his head back to say something, but he is stunned to see that the little twin is removing her towel. She shows her body to him. Yunmu asks her to stop, but when she does not, he creates a blast there. He brings them out and asks them where their sister is. Suddenly, King Yu enters the room and orders the twin sisters to get out of the room. Yunmu says he knew she would be hiding. He asks what she is trying to do. She says she was testing him out. He asks the reason. She reminds him that she told him the jade pendant that her father gave him is the key to the secret realm of the true god. That secret place will let him open the 7th dimension and get the means to become a true god. This news brightens up his mind and soul. She adds that he knows that even people like Xianzhu condensed only 7 planets. There is still a good distance from the true god. so he can imagine how powerful this stuff is. Yunmu asks what all of this has to do with testing him. Besides, if this thing is so great, why must she use it to win over a bad boy like him? She blushes and hesitates but tells him that it is because, to open the secret world, 2 people holding the jade pendant, double cultivation, and advancement to the Saint Realm simultaneously. Yunmu asks if this double cultivation is what he thinks it is. She does not answer. It means Yunmu is right. He laughs the devilish laugh and asks what they are waiting for then. She is stunned to see him excited. He tells her not to look at him like that. He is just a little flower, and she should cherish him. She pushes him back and says not yet. They do not know each other well yet. Yunmu brings out the jade pendant and says he is returning it to her. She asks why he is giving it back to her. He says it was given to her by the old city lord. Then, he will give it back to her. She asks if he even knows what this jade pendant means. He replies he knows. The true god's secret realm is tempting, but he cannot accept an arranged marriage, and he supposes she feels the same way. She is sad to hear him. He says that she must hope that she will be the one to choose the man of her choice. She slowly asks him if he hates her. He sighs and says if he honestly says she was difficult to be with at first. But he does not hate her. It is just that he is not thinking about marriage yet, and he wants to start a relationship with the person he is marrying. Then, he wants to experience belonging to the 2 of them sooner and slowly. Then, of course, it will be difficult to return until one day they are sure that the other is the one they are looking for because of love. She just listens to his beautiful thoughts silently. He adds that at that point, he will get down on one knee and ask the girl to trust him for the rest of her life. From then on, they will grow old together and never part. Then he laughs and says she has to take that piece of jade pendant, and he will help her keep the secret. The first thing she needs to do is to choose a good husband for herself, and then he will come and drink her wedding wine. He takes his bag, starts walking away, and says if anything happens, she can send him a star message. He is leaving now. She grabs his shirt from behind and asks where he is going. He replies he is going to the wilderness camp in Sunset Town. She says they have a teleportation array at home. It will take him there. He says it is a big relief and thanks her for this. After he leaves through the array, she screams, sits down on the floor, and keeps calling herself an idiot. At the Sunset Town Wilderness Camp, Captain Wu is informed of a movement at the teleportation array. He wonders who is teleporting at the late hour. He orders his men to check it out. As Yunmu emerges from the array, 2 soldiers point guns at him and order him not to move. They ask him to hand in the air as he is surrounded. He asks if only 2 people surround him. Captain Wu comes there and tells him this is a military teleportation array. They did not receive notification of the transmission. He asks that kid to give him a reason not to shoot him. Yunmu introduces himself and says he is the Lesser Star General of Tianyang City, stringer number 930,664, and this is his stringer badge. He asks him politely to prepare a supply for him that will last at least a month. Captain Wu orders his subordinates to prepare it quickly. He tells the young admiral that it is very late. He thinks it would be safer for him to leave at dawn. He replies that he cannot wait as it is a very important mission. He also requests him to call him by his name as he is younger than he is, so there is no need for honorifics. He asks the captain how things are in the camp these days. Wu replies that they are the same as always, armed 24 hours a day, constantly on patrol, always ready for battle. If one is a little lax, he may lose his life. Yunmu looks at him and wonders if this is the way his dad used to live. After a while, the captain is informed that everything is ready. It is past midnight. When he leaves the camp, the captain tells him to take his life support pills. He thanks him and calls him Uncle Wu. He also instructs him to be careful when guarding the border. He throws a crystal toward him and asks him to take it as he takes the money for supplies. The brothers work so hard daily, so he should take them to eat something good. Then he leaves. Wu says it is 10,000 and he must take it back. Yunmu just shakes his hand and says he will see them soon. Inside the woods, he regrets his decision to leave at night and thinks he must have listened to Uncle Wu and left tomorrow morning as there are a lot of monsters at this time of night. He wonders how he will pass all the dimensional beasts. Suddenly, he remembers while doing the Tower of Glory, he bought something that he can use. He opens his inventory and brings out the wings of a true 6-dimensional creature, Son of the Wind. He tries to install it on his back. A bit later, he gets a pair of wings on his back. He looks at them and says they are bigger than he thought. But he does not know how to use these things. He wonders if he should say a spell, but he starts flying immediately as he thinks about it. He looks down from the sky. He is happy that he is flying. It feels awesome. Although he has not fully mastered it yet, he can fly easily. He says that it takes a while to fly so far, so these wings are too convenient. When he was excitedly enjoying his flight, he was suddenly struck with something in the air. He has heard of the crashes but never knew he would crash as well. He opens his eyes and sees a flock of dragons flying before him. He recalls that the teacher taught them in the class about them. These are Yolong beasts, the silver-level dimensional beasts that attack fiercely and fly fast. As a result, the hunting of the sub-dragon beast is extremely difficult. As a result, their organs are very valuable. The last words resonate in his mind, and he sees money in them. He calls the shadows to hunt these beasts. The beast feels danger, so he shoots a blast ray from his mouth. Yunmu and shadows escape it at the last second. He goes needed and attacks it using his mad blade. He kills them all one by one. The shadows play their part as well. A drake hunter is drawing a picture of Yolong beast on the ground with a stick. He wonders what's wrong today as he has not seen any Yolong beast. He gets scared when something falls from the sky. He goes near and sees it's a Yolong beast. He sets his glasses to see in the sky as he has heard of pie falling in the sky, but not of the Yolong beast. He is surprised that a boy is chasing after some Yolongs to kill them. He has been a drake hunter for many years but has never seen anything like that. Yunmu goes to the dimensional virtual world. He visits that old dealer at Wangwon Pavilion. He greets him and says he is back again. The old man says that looking at the little boy's face, he has another good product. He replies that this time, the goods are too old. He does not think he can eat it. The old man laughs and says his little friend can make him laugh. He replies if he dares to do this business, he must naturally have enough funds. Yunmu shows him the Yolong beast and asks him to make its price. The old man wonders to see the complete corpse of the sub-dragon beast. He says it is rare, so he will give 1.2 million for that. But he hoped for something incredible. Yunmu locks the deal and says he has 23 more. As usual, he wants the string crystals. The numbers were quite shocking for the old man to hear. He asks Yunmu how many he just mentioned. Yunmu says 23, and apart from that, he has 12 more that were accidentally split open. He asks the price of the split. The old man is stunned as the numbers are so high. He will give 150,000 for the split. Then, he places a container on the table and says this one is the last. But it is alive. He says it took a lot of effort to put it alive in the live capsule. The old man grasps the container and says he will pay 65 million for this alone as this is a top-grade sub-dragon beast. He bids goodbye and says he will not delay his appreciation once the goods are given to him. He tells him to remember to send him the money. It is better to hurry up and pay some money because he will be back soon. Yunmu enters the star realm of his own after getting the money. He is annoyed as the money he made will be thrown here. The more he thinks about it, the more upset he gets. This time, he has brought 100 million dimensional crystals directly, but he does not believe this place will change much. He starts throwing the crystals at the ground. He gets exhausted after a while. He wonders if there's any mistake as these many crystals have increased so little of this land. No wonder the ancestors wanted to set up the Toe of Glory. If one wants to become a true god, it is impossible to rely on himself. Yunmu asks what the astral power is that he can use now. It replies that he can absorb the full blow of a silver stringer. He gets up and says they should keep doing this then. The following morning, at Tianyang City's Lord's mansion, King Yang stands outside King U's room. The twin sisters tell him to return as he cannot go in her room. It is not convenient for the lady to meet people now. Kinaju orders from inside to let him in. He opens the door and asks if she let the country boy stay here for the night last night. He adds that the father must be confused, but how can she believe him? She is sitting on the sofa in an inappropriate state and drinking. She takes a sip and tells him that their father has passed away. He is surprised, but instead of showing grief, he asks where the jade pendant is. His reaction was unpredictable for her. She stands up and says she did not expect that his first sentence turned out to be asking where the jade pendant is. She tells him not to think about it anymore as their father has given it to her and Yunmu. Besides, it is useless if he gets the jade pendant. His awakening is a result of resources. With his talent, he has no hope of ever entering the Super Stringer's realm. Now, he is stunned to hear these words. She advises him to live his young master's life in peace. He grabs her hand and says he will not. He is the young master, and he will be the next city lord. He is the only son of that old thing. Saying this, he recalls his childhood. People used to laugh at him because he could not be awakened and used to call him a waste. King Yang pushes her, and she falls on the floor. He says the pendant only belongs to him, and he can double cultivate with her as she is not his blood sister. Then, he recalls the day when she was brought to this house. King Yin tries to force himself into her and says she is only his. She tries to stop him, who has gone crazy. He does not listen to her. He laughs loudly and tells her not to struggle anymore as she is drunk and has no strength to resist him. Suddenly, the little twin comes there and kicks him away. He gets smashed into a corner. She requests him to respect himself and come back to his senses, but he starts yelling at her and asks how a slave like her can dare to touch him. Meanwhile, the big twin covers Kingu with a cloth. She orders the twins to take the young master down and shut him in the secret room. He starts begging her not to do this. In the star realm, Yunmu is holding the last crystal in his hand and wondering if he should also throw it or save it for self-defense. The money earned from the Yolong beast has been smashed in, but that crystal slips from his hand and gets absorbed in the land. He cries as he is penniless now. As the crystals get absorbed, an earthquake hits the star realm instantly. After that, something appears in the sky, emitting the dazzling rays. As the rays stop emitting and the view gets clear, he sees a planet in the sky. Then, the grass starts growing on the ground. He is amazed to see that there is a bit of life here. The system congratulates him as his star realm has given birth to a star, and has become a one-star star realm. Yunmu asks it how much power he can mobilize now. It replies that his current boundary strength can absorb the full blow of the golden stringer. Yunmu says that if he combines his power with this, he can withstand rainbow crystal's full blow. All of a sudden, he gets a call from Xing. He takes the call and asks him if he misses him too much. It's Nuoji with Xing. She asks him where he is. Instead of answering, he asks what they two are doing together. Xing ignores his jokes and tells him that no matter where he is, he must remember what he says. He asks him to hide himself immediately and not believe anyone. Qingyang has done something evil in the secret room. He says how she dares to look down on him. In this case, she is dead to him. He has uploaded information about the jade pendant online. Qingyu comes there and slaps him. She asks him if he is crazy. He starts laughing hysterically and says he has been driven crazy by Yunmu and that old thing. It is too late for her to stop him. He has already told the world about the old man's death and the jade pendant. He also said the jade pendant is on her and Yunmu's body. Now, she will die for sure. She is scared to hear that. At the same time, when they both are having this conversation, the jade pendant's interest explodes in the world instantly. Just a few words about the key to the ancient realm stirred the nerves of every powerful person in the central continent. In contrast, the fall of the city lord of Tianyun City is no longer important. Clouds move in all directions. Clans have sent people to find Yunmu's whereabouts. They want to seize the jade pendant, but there has been no clue of Yunmu. Not long after, a video of Yunmu at the Sunset Formation appeared online. Just like that, Yunmu's whereabouts were exposed to the eyes of the clans. All the forces immediately set out to catch Yunmu. At the city lord's palace, Qingyu has been attacked by the other clan's people. She tells them that Qingyang made all that up. They ask who she thinks she is fooling. They say she wants to take the ancient secret realm for herself. They physically abuse her and say a treasure like the double fish jade pendant should be kept by all the clans together. They ask her to hand it over now. The twin sisters appear there and beat that guy. They ask her if she is all right. One of those invaders says that it is just 3 women, and they can control them and take the pendant. At that instant, the door opens and someone enters, asking how a group of adults can bully 3 children. That drunk guy is the supreme elder of the Qingyun clan. Those invaders wonder how that guy can be present here. The guy, not knowing who that drunk man is, goes near him and asks, now it is the clans that are doing the work, who he thinks he is to talk to in this place. He grabs him by his shirt and asks if he wants him to kill him. The Supreme Elder says that if he thinks so, they should do this. He just cuts the hand of that guy instantly. People there wonder how a war saint could come here in person. He goes near Qingyu and asks if he will pull out his ears again. He adds that he also wants to lap the pillow. She asks Elder Taisheng if he thinks this is the time to pull out his ears. He smirks and says she is right. He addresses those brats and says today, he will put his words here. If any of them dare to touch Qingyu, he will destroy his entire family. After listening to him, one guy apologizes and says he will leave now. Another guy asks if he would just retreat like that. That guy replies that Qingyu definitely cannot be touched with Taisheng around. It is just a waste of time here. Then, all of those invaders leave, saying they should try to catch Yunmu and get his piece of jade pendant. Qingyu is now worried about him. That was the story that Nuoji tells Yunmu in short and says he is in great danger. Xing says he does not have to worry about his family. He has arranged for the Jiang family to move them. He tells him to hide first and not run around as they are coming to meet him. Yunmu tells them to go back. It is safest to be on his own in his current situation. Xing tells him that he can trust them. Yunmu tells him that he is on the outskirts of Sunset Town. Xing asks him to wait for them there. Yunmu is back from the Star World. He says he needs to find a place to hide. He holds a beetle in his hand and says it is a good idea to try out this little thing he got in the Tower of Glory. He releases the giant pincer beetle to dig a hole in the ground and come out. But the beetle comes back because the ground starts shaking suddenly. It was a trap that he almost escaped. Some hunters said that. They say it does not matter if the trap did not work. They will just take him down. Yunmu is worried as these hunters are there sooner than he expected. One of them is a gold crystal, while the other 3 are silver crystals. Their boss says Yunmu is an ordinary crystal with the wings of wind, and it is such a waste. They use their wings to capture him. The boss wants those wings of wind in addition to the jade pendant. Yunmu escapes their initial attack. He was not expecting them to have the flying ability as well. It is now difficult to save himself just by escaping their attacks. While he was busy dealing with 2 in front, the third one approached him from behind. But he timely notices it and prepares to counterattack. Suddenly, someone crashes to the ground. Those hunter thinks that Yunmu has lost already. That when the smoke clears, they see it as their fellow and not Yunmu. They realize that Yunmu is fast, and they need to find a way to block his movements. Yunmu has activated his mad blade. He effortlessly kills the other 2 silver stringers. The last one, who is a gold stringer, yells at him for killing his companions. He prepares to attack with his full strength. He laughs devilishly and says with his full power attack, Yunmu will be dead, and the jade pendant will be his. But Yunmu easily dissipated his attack. He can now easily take a golden string level attack. That guy tries to flee. He thinks Yunmu is a demon, as his full power cannot hurt him. Yunmu strikes him with made blade attack and cuts him into several pieces. Now, it's time for him to take a break. The system tells him that it was his first time to kill a golden crystal stringer, so he has achieved an achievement. He will receive a dimensional box. Yunmu says he first needs to find a hiding place, so he orders the giant pincer beetle to dig a hole in the ground. After a while, he thanks the beetle for his hard work. Now, he is underground, and no one should be able to find him here. Here, he opens the dimensional box. It's some kind of spinal bone. The system congratulates him on acquiring the rank treasure, Dragon Demon Spin. It can be implanted in the host's body to form an inner armor inside the body to protect internal organs. Yunmu did not like it as it was a defensive item, as always. He is on the road to the dark side of the meat suit, and he wants something different. At the Sunset Front border camp, some people ask Captain Wu if they have seen Yunmu. He replies he has not seen him and advises them to look for him in another place. He wonders why the groups and groups of bounty hunters are coming this way, asking about Yunmu. After a while, 2 youngsters come to him, call him uncle, and ask if they have ever seen someone with red hair. The system starts implanting the dragon demon spin in his body. It requests him to bear with the pain as it is an extremely painful process. He is crying in pain. However, the implementation was completed successfully. He sits by the wall to hold himself together and says he never wants to experience this pain for the second time in his life. All of a sudden, 2 string bombs roll down near him and blast the underground cave he was hiding in. This is another team of bounty hunters. They are surprised to see that 2 string crystal grenade explosions could not end his life. According to them, the explosion had enough power to kill a rainbow crystal stringer. They say Yunmu has something that they want. Therefore, he will die here. By saying that, he rushes to attack him. He hardly escapes the attack. Another guy tries to throw a punch at him. Yunmu grabs his hands and blocks the attack. But it was a trap. As he is busy with him, 2 teammates charge in from opposite directions and throw him away. Their boss laughs and tells him to give up the struggle. He realizes that it is hard to deal with a gold crystal and a rainbow crystal. They all worked so well together that the rhythm led him to their battle. He is under the rubble, and it is hard to find a breakthrough to counterattack. The boss hunter is about to make his final move, but someone blasts his arm. Yunmu wonders who is helping him. It's Xing, standing on a tall tree. He comments that those hunters have got nerves. He asks what they are doing with his friend. A guy from the hunter group tells his fellows not to panic as it's just a kid. He asks them to regroup. Nuoji kicks that guy's face instantly to shut him up. 2 hunters try to kill her, but Yunmu's ravens tear them apart. Yunmu stands up. He is still bleeding and says he was careless, and those hunters gave him a hard time. Nuoji smiles at him and says it's great that he is okay. Yunmu tells the hunter that as long as he does not get caught up in their rhythm, for him, they are ants. He adds that that guy took great care of him, so it is time to repay the favor. That hunter tries to run away, thinking that the look in that guy's eyes is simply not what a human would have, and he will kill him. Xing shoots him in his leg, and he falls to the ground. He says he won't let him run away. That hunter crawls to escape there. Yunmu grabs him by his hair and says, as a rainbow crystal stringer, it is embarrassing to run for his life in such a mess. He gives him an electric shock. Xing looks at him and says it is all electric scorched. He adds that Yunmu can be cruel sometimes. Yunmu thanked him for his help. Otherwise, he would have been in trouble. Nuoji says they should get out of here before other hunters get attracted by the sound of fighting. Suddenly, they see a flare in the sky. That hunter shot it to tell the searchers about their location. He says that they all will be torn apart in a while. He opens a tube and is about to drink the potion in it. Yunmu lifts his blade and stabs it in his head. Xing hurries and catches that potion before it spills. Yunmu asks what that thing is. He replies this is a good thing. If the holy water of life does not die completely, it can be saved even if disabled. He throws it toward Yunmu and says it will be helpful to him. At that instant, an arrow is shot at them. Yunmu pushes the other away, and they barely escape it. Someone asks Yunmu to surrender and hand over the keys to the ancient god's secret realm as he cannot escape. There are tens of people surrounding them. Xing says if it were just a lot of people, it would have been fine. But there are also Dragon Valley's Gu Chengfeng, Phantom Yingsu 7 Snowgirl, and Lai Jing, a member of the Lu family in Giant Lion City. This is not a joke. Yunmu thinks that it is scary to have so many people releasing strong pressure at the same time. Even the sky has begun to sizzle. He raises his hand and asks if they can spare him if he gives up his key. Then he asks whom he should give it to as there are 3 different parties. Jing is about to make an offer, but Snowgirl interrupts him and says Yumi should not try to get away from them with these few words. He plays causal and says the woman has seen through his bluff. In this case, the only thing to do is the Lai family's ninjutsu. They all wear the same clothes and look alike. Yunmu asks them who will be the first to find him. The hunters are stunned to see them changing so fast. They all run in different directions to separate those hunters. The Snowgirl says the one in the north is her target. Changfeng says he will take the one running to the east. In the east of the forest, Changfeng and his team are searching for their target and say he runs fast. Just now, he was led in a circle around the woods, so how did that kid disappear in the blink of an eye? Suddenly, some of his men are shot dead. Zhang smirks at them and says it is a pity they guessed wrong. Changfeng says what if he guesses wrong? He can grab him and use him to force Yunmu out. He asks Zhang if he can do this alone, defeating dozens of people from the Earth Dragon Valley. He replies there is no way, but none of them thought about why he ran. It was just to lead them here to die. There are bombs installed on the ground where they all are standing. He says that he just forgot to introduce himself. He is Xing of the Zhang family of Tianyang City, and it is nice to meet them all. Then, he pushes the button. In the north of the forest, the Snowgirl is chasing the kid. She catches him finally. She tells him to stop struggling and hand over the jade pendant so she will not make things difficult for him. The kid calls her name. She gets angry and changes her mind. She picks up a stick and throws it so the kid is on it. But it turns out to be Nuoji instead of Yunmu. She apologizes to her for deceiving her, but she is wrong. In the south of the forest, Yunmu stands by a tree. Jing and his team approach him and say they have caught him and ask him not to run away. Yunmu smirks and says he is not going to run anyway. He tells them to finish it quickly as he is in a hurry. He says they all can come together at him. He goes back a little when those 3 made that plan. Xing told them that these 3 forces were not ordinary. If they joined forces together, Yunmu and others would die without even a trace left. But if there was only one force, Yunmu could resist, so they would divide into 3 to reduce the pressure on Yunmu. He asked how it could be done as they both were far from their fighting power. If they got caught, they would be killed. Xing said no such thing would happen as the target was only Yunmu. Besides, it was not difficult for him to get rid of them and retreat. As long as he did not actively provoke them, nothing would happen. As for Nuoji, as long as she reported to her family, no one would touch her. Everything would be according to the plan. Jing asks if Yunmu has gone crazy. He has more than 20 people, and Yunmu is just one person who thinks he can win. Yunmu asks who says he is alone. He calls shadows, ravens, and Linglong to come out. Nuoji fights Snowgirl's team using her martial arts. Snowgirl says it is a surprise that such a cute girl can fight like this. She adds that Nuoji is a practitioner of Baji boxing. She asks him about her family name as she does not want to get into trouble. Nuoji thinks if she talks about her grandfather, they will definitely not tangle with her and turn around to chase Yunmu, so he will be in danger and face 2 groups. So she replies that if she wants to fight, just fight without caring about who she is. She must hold her off to buy time for Yunmu, even if it is just for 1 more second. She will stall even if she dies. Suddenly, they hear an explosion sound in the east. Nuoji wonders what it was. The Snowgirl says the direction of the explosion was to the east, and it seems that Changfeng's side has also been engaged. Yunmu also hears the sound. He wonders what Xing is up to as he remembers saying he would not die as long as he did not provoke them. He was not stupid enough to go head to head with them. Jin says he thinks Changfeng has killed Yunwu's partner. Suddenly, he looks back and sees Shadow Number 1 killing his men. Jing asks what that thing is. Yunwu replies that he already said that he was in a hurry. He takes off the coat of a man and says he had no idea that 50 crystal detonators could be so powerful. It cost him a lot of money, but it was worth it to blow them all up at once. He wears the coat and says it is time to meet up with the rest. But Changfeng appears behind and asks where he thinks he is going. He attacks Xing, but he escapes it by jumping. Xing uses his string-powdered pressure cannon to shoot Changfeng, but he blocks it using his hands. Xing asks how he can block his attack. He starts shooting and says he will see how many attacks he can take. Changfeng says this bulky gun cannot hit him. He reaches Xing from the other side and pushes him so that the gun slips from his hands, but he activates it before shooting automatically and continuously. Changfeng uses his breaker's punch technique and blocks all the bullets. Xing is now worried about his speed as he uses his bulletproof hands to deflect all the bullets. He says that using the speed of the fist to create an impermissible barrier is an absolute defense. Changfeng rushes towards him and attacks him with his berserker's punch. Xing jumps back and saves himself. He says he cannot get hit by a punch like that. He tries to calm down. No matter the move, there will be a flaw, as there is no real defense. As long as he finds the flaw, this is not a big deal. He uses his trick called the Pupil of Alesha. Xing says Alesha's Pupil is a secret art unique technique of the Zhang family. It allows them to keep a calm mind to analyze the enemy's attack to find a flaw. He just needs one shoot to kill him. Changfeng tells him not to talk big and attacks him again. Xing continuously escapes all his attacks. Changfeng asks if he knows the meaning of absolute defense. It means his attacks are completely useless against him, and he is invincible. Xing ignores him, calms down, and adjusts his breath. He reads his attacks and says they are a bit more concentrated. As long as he is attacking, no matter how dense it is, there will be gaps. He has to watch each of his attacks carefully and find the gap. Suddenly, he stumbles back. Changfeng laughs and says even the gods are not willing to help him. He attacks him last time, thinking he will kill him now. Xing takes his few punches, but suddenly he shoots him in the face. He finally saw through it. His technique is broken. Changfeng is taking his last breaths and says that it is a lie and he cannot see through it. Xing asks if he is not tired of swinging so many punches in a row. He landed 132 punches, and his last punch was 0.37 seconds slow. At the north of the forest, Nuoji is busy taking down the Snow Girls team. The lady says that there is Tai Chi in literature to secure the world, and there are 8 extremes in martial arts to determine heaven and earth. He appreciates Nuoji's fierce punching style. She adds that after the Dark Ages, there were not many of these techniques left, but she has seen enough of her martial arts moves. It is time to get serious. She disappears instantly, saying those words. Nuoji is perplexed to see this. Snow Girl attacks her right shoulder by piercing an ice rod. The Snow Girl laughs and asks how it is and if she regrets it now. She adds that she was planning to let her go. After all, fighting with her is meaningless, but she ended up charging up like crazy and killing her men. She looks at her and says she cannot grasp what she is thinking, but by now, her right arm should have been too paralyzed by the cold to move. But Nuoji stands up again. The lady is shocked to see that she still wants to fight with her left arm only. Nuoji calls her an old hag and says she will stop her at all costs. This makes the Snow Girl furious and she charges at her. Yunwu's team kills Jin's men. He wonders what is happening there and where all those people pop out. He cannot call these things humans. Yunwu attacks Jing from behind, but he notices him and saves himself in time. Yunwu thinks that there is no time for playing. You must kill him now, as Xing and Nuoji need his help. Nuoji is facing the Snow Girl's ice rods. She tackles them in every way possible. It is a difficult situation for her. That lady can attack from a distance. If she gets away from her, she will be on defense. She must accelerate, so she tries to get closer to her. The Snow Girl jumps back and wonders how Nuoji has suddenly gone so fast. Nuoji notices that the lady is nearing her limit, so she again accelerates and tries to punch but misses her. The Snow Girl says she hates her noise now. She prepares to attack, but Nuoji pushes her arm away, uses her tiger-style technique, and attacks her in the belly. The lady is now annoyed, and she stabs Nuoji's leg. She says that she has sealed her left leg. Now, she will see how Nuoji will punch her, but she does not prevent from trying and crawls towards her. The lady asks the little girl if she still wants to fight. She asks her why she is doing this and what that kid has to do with her. There is only one thing on Nuoji's mind. She has to stop that woman. She has to fight for Yunwu and buy him time to escape because she likes her. She finally shouts it, but then she wonders if it is okay to say that. The lady says this reason is extremely naive. She jumps and says since Nuoji likes him so much, she will send her to him. Nuoji says if she had not said it, she might never have had another chance. Now she can die. But then she realizes she should not say such frustrating words. She has decided to be his help, but she does not want to look at his back anymore. What she wants is to stand beside him. Since this is the case, she must be as strong as he is. That is not for the sake of buying time for him. Rather, this is her battle. So she uses her right leg and left hand to kick the snow girl. She is thrown away. Nuoji lies down there and says she has finally won. The last attack was her strongest attack. She is glad that she managed to stop her and help Yunmu. But she is wrong. That lady stands near her head and asks whom she thinks she has stopped. Nuoji cries as she stabs both her arms. The lady says Nuoji is arrogant. She tells her to prepare herself mentally. She will not let her die easily. Nuoji is crying with tears. The lady is furious. She says she wants to nail her down slowly. She wants her to torment to death. But a bullet hits her hand instantly. She looks around to find who he is. Shung, standing on a tree, asks her if the girl at her feet is his friend. Nuoji looks at him, who is standing there and laughing. Yunmu and his opponent are fighting with blades. Jing wonders what the origin of that kid is. The monsters he summoned are also ridiculously strong. He wonders how Nagfeng and the Snow Girl have not solved the others. He just wants them to show up and help him. Yunmu charges at him, but as he approaches him, he disappears. Then, he appears from behind and gives him an electric shock. Lighting has paralyzed his whole body, and he cannot move. After that, Yunmu attacks him with his mad blade. Jing realizes that he cannot fight Yunmu. He decides to escape. He calls his remaining men to retreat. His guy asks him if they will just pull out. Yunmu and his team have killed many of them. The boss replies that they cannot beat him. They are smart if they know how to stop in time. He says they will go back and reorganize a group of high-ranking stringers and then return here to take care of him. Yunmu is up to something. Those guys look at the sky and see a dark cloud approaching them. Yunmu uses the heavenly thunder technique and drops the heavy lighting on them. After the smoke clears, Yunmu sees that Jing is still standing. This is unexpected. He brings out his blade and says normally, he would have let Jing go, but he has already seen his shadow, so he cannot let him live. Suddenly, someone kills Jing using a single-armed heavy dimension gun before Yunmu kills him. That guy is approaching from behind and saying, "How dare these losers from the giant lion city come to fight for the jade pendant?" He tells Yunmu that their Chaosian sect will take his jade pendant. Yunmu is worried about seeing that top-level clan here. He starts walking away, saying he is in a hurry. He does not have the time to spend with them down here. That guy says there is no way he will let Yunmu go. He claps and signals his men to arrange the formation. His men start flying in the air and surround him from there. Yunmu thinks it is an air battle. The boss of the Chaosian clan says that Yunmu will learn about their secret weapons soon. All of a sudden, a barrier forms around him. That guy laughs and says now he sees how Yunmu runs away. He demands him to hand over the jade pendant. Yunmu says they cannot trap him with this little formation. He strikes that barrier with the mad blade to break it, but it does not work. He is surprised that it did not give the barrier a single scratch. The guy advises him to save his breath. He says this is not an ordinary formation. This is their Chaosian sect's holy weapon, a void of formation created to confine space. Yunmu cannot break it anyway. Yunmu looks at the men behind him and grins as he runs out of time. Xing is carrying Nuoji on his back and running away from the snow girl. He asks her how she made that woman so angry that she is desperate to kill her. She replies she does not know why she is angry. She just wants them to die. Xing says that the woman is crazy. Even her attacks are a complete mess. It is simply attacking indiscriminately. It is obvious that the whole body is in bad shape. But due to this kind of indiscriminate attack, he does not know how to counterattack. The Eye of Elysia is not useful with crazy attacks like this. He can only run away. The lady is about to catch them and kill them, but someone tells her to get out of the way and kills her instantly. Xing stops to see what's going on. It's a delivery guy from Dingfeng Express. He asks Xing if he knows Yunmu. He has brought a parcel for him, but Xing is busy thinking this guy is so strong. He killed that woman in an instant and with that brutal technique. The delivery guy hands over the parcel and asks him to sign instead of Yunmu if he is his friend. Xing is relaxed to know that the delivery guy is not an enemy. He signs the paper. That guy says the package has been signed for, so he will be on his way. Xing asks if he is not here for their help. He replies that he is just a courier guy. He cannot help them. Besides, he does not work overtime. Xing says there is no way he is only a courier guy, but he wonders where this package has come from. He is surprised to see the address mentioned that is of War God Temple. A guy from the Chaosian sect tries to shoot Yunmu, but he loses his aim by kicking his face. Another one tries the same, but Yunmu asks the shadows to care for him. The shadow number 1 kills that guy quickly. Their boss wonders where those two things and that woman came from. Just now, it was clear that Yunmu was alone inside the formation. He says that this guy has too many secrets that no one knows. Fortunately, he had the foresight to bring the other sacred objects of the clan. He says that Yunmu will not escape the void formation, and they will take this opportunity to kill him. He says that it is a pity that Yunmu was quite spirited. It is his type. He asks his men to stop for a moment. Then he adds that this guy has so many strange methods. Who knows if there will be another hidden danger. In his opinion, they should not waste time. Just use their secret weapon and show him the power of the Chaosian sect. Yunmu wonders what those guys are doing now. Then, he sees a spear in their hands. They fire it towards Linglong, but Yunmu pushes her away to save her. The little one starts crying. Yunmu asks why she is crying. It is good that she is okay, but he notices later that he is bleeding from the wound that the spear gave him. He has lost an arm. The boss laughs as his plan works. The spear has gotten him. Seeing her father in pain, she goes wild. She gets up and starts beating those men. Yunmu is breathing heavily, and his vision has become blurry. He wonders if he will die here. The boss is laughing while sitting outside the formation. He says that the rune spear's blood curse has hit Yunmu. He is a dead man now. The blood curse wrapped around the rune spear will drain his flux energy from the wound. After draining his flux energy, he will die of exhaustion. Those men are getting beaten badly by Linglong. They decide to kill her with the rune spear as well. Yunmu tells the little one to run away as the speed of the spear is no joke. Those men fire the spears on her, but Yunmu comes again and becomes her shield. He orders her to get smaller and hide in the star realm. He tells her not to worry as he will not die. Her dad is invincible. The spears hit him again and created a blast. The boss man is surprised to see Yunmu moving. He says that after getting hit by the rune so many times, he will not survive. When the smoke clears, the view is different than he expected. Yunmu is fine as his shadows take the spears to themselves. The system alerts him that all his shadow spirits have died. Yunmu looks into the eyes of his shadow and tells him not to worry as he will bring them back to life. Then he opens the bottle of holy water. He remembers that Xing told him this water could heal anything as long as it was dead, so he drank it. He does not know if this thing is useful. He can only take a gamble. Suddenly, his arm starts regrowing. The boss guy is stunned to see his arm restored. He wonders if what Yunmu just drank was the holy water of life. Yunmu is glad as he never thought it would work. The injuries of his body are also healed. He stretches his body and gets ready for the round 2. He starts slaughtering those men using his mad blade. He does not know if this is an illusion, but his newly grown arm seems better than the previous one. One of those men fires a spear again at him. He dodges his attack and catches that flying spear. He sends it back to that guy, saying he can have it. This was shocking for the boss to see. He wonders how it is possible to catch a flying spear. Yunmu thinks he can fight in peak conditions as long as he is focused. Now, he has to find a way to break through the barrier. He remembers the teacher telling him once that no matter what kind of formation, the eye of the formation uses string force as an energy carrier. Then, it must have a weak point. As long as he can break through the weakest place, he can escape. Yunmu starts charging himself up. First, he kills all the remaining men in there. Then, he starts looking for the weakest point of the formation by attacking blindly. After a while, he tires up and stops, thinking it is not a good idea to keep looking for spots randomly. He will be exhausted before finding the weakness of the formation. Suddenly, some bullets hit the barrier and created a crack in it. Xing found the weakest point and created a crack there for Yunmu. He says he can only help him this much. The rest is up to him. Yunmu excitedly says it looks like it is all settled on that side. He was worried about them. Then he starts attacking at the spot to make a big hole there. The boss guy says it is not good if he escapes. He and his companions start to make the formation again. His men say that Yunmu's power has suddenly increased, and the formation is about to break. Yunmu finally breaks the barrier and jumps out of it. He laughs and says it is time to die for all of those from the Chaosian sect. Xing tells Nuoji to let go and rendezvous with Yunmu, but he notices that she is knocked out. He thinks of a plan to bring her back to the senses. He tells her ears that he heard her saying that she likes Yunmu. She suddenly wakes up, grabs him by the neck, and starts yelling at him for how he dares to listen to a lady's little secrets. Then, she becomes dramatic and says she wants to bury herself from this embarrassment. Xing tells her not to worry as he will not tell anyone. Then, they both ran toward the point where Yunmu broke the barrier. Xing is happy he can break through, but Nuoji notices he is possessed. He is in his war god state, but it looks more like he is transforming into a demon. He still does not know how to control his power. Yunmu flies towards those men and starts killing those rainbow stringers with only one strike. He has grown very fast. Nuoji thinks it is so brutal. She wonders if he is still the guy she knows. He has completely lost his mind. Seeing his men getting killed, the boss of the sect thinks he bought dozens of people from the Kaoshin sect, and Yunmu alone killed them all. He looks at him and tells him not to look down on Kaotian's sect. He says he is the team leader of a first-rate squad. It is easy for him to kill a small fry like him. He is about to surpass the rainbow crystal and enter the ranks of the super stringer. But Yunmu shuts his mouth and pushes him down to the ground. He tells him to die. That guy is badly injured after hitting the ground. Yunmu uses the Thunder's Mad Blade and kills in an instant. Xing looks at him and says Yunmu has grown stronger since the Zhangju competition. He wonders if this is the growth rate that other geniuses can achieve. Suddenly, he looks at them and flies towards them to kill them. Nuoji cannot believe that he wants to kill them. She yells and tells him to look carefully as they are his friends. She tries to remind him, but it does not work. She closes her eyes, thinking she will die. But Xing slaps at his face to awaken him. He says Yunmu is being so noisy. They are not yet in a safe position. Nuoji asks if it is over because he slapped on his cheeks. Xing asks if she is going to appeal to his heart instead. He says she has been reading too many comics. He tells her not to worry as it is not his first time. He has experience in dealing with this situation. At Stringer's Guild archives, the guild master looks at all the names that were recently killed. He says that Yunmu has made a lot of trouble this time. A servant comes to the president and tells him that several major clans have sent a joint star message. He orders to bring it in. Those clan masters greet the chief and say the young star he elected has slaughtered their entire teams. They want him to explain. The chief replies what they want him to explain. Their teams tried to grab something and were killed because they lacked skills. He asks them what they want to do with his young star general. He asks them if there is anything else they want to discuss. He adds that if they want to continue to pursue Yunmu, he will not stop them. That clan master says they will not. Even the Kaoshin sect had a complete defeat in the secret realm. One of them tells Chief that he has found a good seed. He smiles and replies, of course. Yunmu wakes up from his sleep. He asks where the people from the Kaoshin sect are. She scolds him and says he killed all of them, even Xing, and she was almost killed by him. He thinks for a while and says it means it's time to grab the spoils. He starts running somewhere. She asks him where he is going. He goes near the dead bodies. He remembers that it should be around here somewhere. He finally finds it. It is the sacred weapon of the Kaoshin sect that the boss was bragging about. Now, it belongs to him. He searches for the valuable material from the other dead bodies and takes them. Xing asks shockingly if he has started to indulge in a dead man's fortune. He says Yunmu has broadened his horizons. Yunmu does not respond and picks up a rune spear. Seeing a rune spear makes Xing greedy, and he asks Yunmu to give it to him. He replies that he will not give it to him as he was just cursing him a while ago. Nuoji thinks these two get along very well. Meanwhile, Xing gets a notification. Seeing it, he starts screaming so loudly that even Yunmu gets scared. Then he starts laughing and tells him that he is rich. Yunmu says, of course, he is. His family is wealthy. Xing tells him that on the internet, there is a bet whether Yunmu can survive or not. He bet 100 million on Yunmu. And just now, the major clans released the news that they will no longer come after Yunmu. In the bet, the odds for him to win are 1 to 300. That means he has 130 billion. Yunmu sits on him and grabs his legs. He says when it comes to his life and death, the first thing he thinks of is to use his life to get money. He says all the money Xing won in the bet now belongs to him. Nuoji tries to break them up. After that, he checks that site on the internet. He is angry that no one believes that he will survive. It feels like people all over the world are waiting for him to die. Only his Big Bear family placed a bet on him. He is now being emotional that these guys believed in him. At the sacred continent of the Kaoshin sect, the young master is screaming inside his room that he will kill Yunmu. The staff outside his room wonders what is wrong with their young master. One of them says that he has locked him up and threw such a tantrum because someone killed the young master's pet. They wonder to know that the young patriarch has such a fetish. The informer says yes. He adds that even the sect master is troubled by Long Yong's condition. However, the young sect master cared about Lin Jian and made him his dual cultivation partner. Otherwise, he would not give him the void wheel. As a result, the void wheel is gone now, so it is not strange if he gets mad. The young master is sitting in his room with grief and anger. He asks Pu Jing if he is suppressing his abilities, too. He says he would like to see which one of them is suppressing more. Xing asks Yunmu if his clothes fit him well. He replies they are a bit tight. He says those two are well prepared and even brought a change of clothes. Shin gives him his box and says a courier just delivered it. Yunmu asks how there can be a courier in such a barren place. He replies that it is a courier of the war god temple. There is no place in this world that they cannot deliver to. He adds that, fortunately, that guy came at the right time. Otherwise, he does not know what would have happened to them. However, a courier guy could easily kill the snow girl in seconds. War God Palace deserves its reputation. Yunmu opens the box and finds a letter in it. He wonders what this could be about. Shing says it should be an invitation letter from the War God Palace. Nuoji screams and asks if it is an invitation letter in real. She says this thing is what he needs the most now. He asks why she says that. She inquires if he knows what this invitation letter represents. It means he has the backing of the War God Palace. Some people enter the Zhang family manor without informing. A servant asks them who they are. He warns them that trespassing is not allowed here. But one of those men grabs him and asks him to get out of their way. Suddenly, the owner of the house comes and fires a bullet in the air. He asks who those guys are and why they are in his manor. They reply that they are here to pick up Yunmu's family and take them to War God's palace. On the other side, Yunmu asks Xing what the biggest support means. He replies that after one person is chosen to become a trialist, his family will be sheltered by the War God Palace. Nuoji adds to the conversation and says his family will be sent to live in the sanctuary of the War God Palace, where it is safe and no one dares to harm them. Yunmu calls it so overbearing. Xing corrects him and says it is naturally overbearing. He says these people in the War God Temple do not interfere with politics and only focus on martial arts. This makes the secular powers wary of them. Yunmu says it sounds interesting. Xing shows him his letter and asks if he wants to join the team. Nuoji asks surprisingly when he gets one. He replies that he received it a long time ago, but he has not yet replied to them. She starts yelling at him and calls him stupid for letting them wait for his reply. Yunmu asks Xing if he wants the rune spear. He also gives something to Nuoji that he found from that little white guy. It is the holy pearl of purification. After refining, it can improve the natural aptitude. Xing asks why he suddenly gives them such a good thing. He replies that this time, things were dangerous. Those two were willing to risk their lives to help him. He thanked them for that. Xing feels awkward by this attitude of his. He hits his head with the spear. She asks him why he hits him all of a sudden. He replies that he suddenly said something strange. Therefore, he thought his head was not working properly, and tapping it might fix it. Yunmu takes them both to the dimensional virtual realm to see that old dealer at Wangwen Pavilion. He calls the uncle and asks if he is home. The old man appears behind the curtains. Yunmu smiles at him and says he has got a great thing this time. He shows him quickly and asks what it is. The old man recognizes the void cauldron. He says this is a good thing. He asks Yunmu if he can see the wheel that can be turned. He tells him that forward rotation deploys formation and reverse rotation closes it. Yunmu says that he has heard rumors that this is a holy artifact. He asks if this is true. He replies that it is more than just a holy artifact. It is still missing the other half, and if he can find it, he can complete the holy artifact. Yunmu asks where the other half is. The old man replied that it is said that the other half was placed inside the Tower of Glory by ancestors and can only be obtained by breaking through the 70th floor with the rank of Pujing. Yunmu whispers in the ears of the old man and asks if he has any meditation power for sale here. He wants to order two. He replies that the meditation string force is not a non-sale item, so why does he want it? Yunmu says it's these two friends of his who saved his life, and he wants to buy it for them. The old man says it is very costly. Only one vial costs about 10 billion. Yunmu says that money is not a problem for him. Yunmu shows him all the stuff he has to sell. The old man praises him as he is an unusual guy and always brings the good stuff. Yumi suddenly remembers something and asks Uncle if he has any holy water of life here. He replies he does not have it here, but he can watch for it for him. Shin comes there and hears their conversation. He asks why he wants to buy more when he already has a bottle. He replies he has used up his bottle. He tells them that when he was trapped inside the barrier, his arm was cut off, and after drinking it, his whole arm grew back. Nuoji is shocked to hear that and asks if it still hurts him. Yunmu does not reply to her. He wonders if this stuff will allow his dad, who has lost his legs, to grow them back. Xing tells him to come with him to a good place. He says that good things, like the holy water of life, are hard to come by, but they should take their chances. Xing brings them to the largest underground black market in the dimensional realm in Zhangzhou. This place is lawless, and people are fighting and killing each other. Xing tells him that if he is lucky, he can buy anything here. There is no middleman to earn the difference. The goods they sell here are mostly stolen. Yunmu looks at the condition and finds that place messy. Nuoji is feeling uncomfortable here as well. He says she did not expect the rich young master to know this kind of place. Shing smiles and says he is a frequent visitor here. He says they all should look for the holy water of life separately. It is best to find what they want to buy before Nuoji spits it out. Nuoji points in a direction and says she is going to check there. Yunmu looks around and thinks he stayed in the upper world for so long that he almost forgets this is the life of most people in this era. Suddenly, he hears someone yelling at a kid. He says that he has only one broken page and he wants to sell it for a sky high. He sees that guy beating that kid holding that page. Yunmu looks at the page and is stunned to find that page is the rune page of the dwarf witch tribe. The bully tells the kid that runes are valuables, but a broken page is worthless. Yunmu goes near that kid. He sits near him, wipes his page, and asks how much he wants for that broken page. Yunmu tells the boy to offer a price and he will buy it. That kid pushes his hand away and yells that he will take 3 million. Yunmu looks at him and thinks he is just like a scared kitten. Yunmu says okay, but he demands the child to tell him where he got that broken paper from. The kid says he will charge extra for that. He wants 5 million in total. A guy tells Yunmu not to listen to that kid as he offered him 1 million before Yunmu came here. But before he gets the warning, he is done with transferring 5 million. The crowd there wonders where that man came from as he does not take money as money. The guy searches for him online and tells others to look at what he has found. He is the famous Lai Yunmu. They all have heard that he is also the young star general. The kid gets scared after hearing that Yunmu is a general. Yunmu tells the kid that the money has been given to him so he can give the stuff and tell him where he got it. He replies that he will give this to him, but he is not sure where this stuff came from. He says he stole this stuff. He just wanted to scam some money. He seems to feel ashamed. His brother is dying, and he needs the money to treat him. He cries with tears and apologizes to Yunmu for scamming him. He says he will give him his money back and requests him not to arrest him. The crowd gets emotional after hearing the kid's story. They feel bad for treating him rude earlier, but Yunmu feels angry and punishes the kid for scamming him. Then he lets him go and says if he needs the money, let's say he lent it to him. He leaves him there, saying that life is hard, but it is not right to cheat someone for money, so he should stop it. After all, next time, it will not be him. The kid is speechless and just watches him go. Yunmu goes back to the real world. Shing and Nuoji are waiting for him there. Shing asks him if he found it, as they both failed. He replies that it is the same with him. He cannot even run into it. It looks like he is out of luck today. He only bought 3-dimensional sky eyes and a broken page. Nuoji says there is only one sheet of that thing, which is useless. He laughs and asks who said he has only one. He already had one, so now he has 2. Shing asks what is the use of this stuff. Yunmu realizes that he just spent money without thinking about it, and now it's all in vain. He starts sinking and suddenly, Nuoji tells him not to be depressed. They are going to the Dark Realm, and maybe he will find something new there. Yunmu yells at Xing as his stupid Ferrari has only 2 seats. He replies that Yunmu can come by flying with his wings. The Dark Realm is the area that is meant to be in tune with the higher world. There are many dimensional beasts that come from the higher world to hone their abilities, knowing that it is hazardous but still eagerly advancing. Yunmu tells them that the oxygen concentration here is so low. He asks how much longer they have to go. Xing replies that there is still to go, and they have only entered the Dark Realm. That mountain there is the heart of this dark realm. Yunmu lies on the ground and starts crying like a child that he does not want to go as he is tired. He requests Xing to carry him on his back. Xing asks if he is a child. He reminded him he wanted to come and spill his guts and roll with the punches. Yunmu replies that they came here by car while he flew the whole way. Xing notices someone hiding and aims his weapon in that direction, and asks who is there. It's Tang Ruochen. He tells them not to be nervous. They ask him what he is doing here. He asks if Yunmu has forgotten that he gave him a map. He knew that with his strength, Yunmu would break through the siege, so he came straight here to wait for him. He informs him that the Chaosian sect has released a message to give him 3 days to return the Wheel of the Void. Yunmu does not respond to that. Ruochen says the Chaosian sect wants to gather all the holy weapons to form an unparalleled killing array. Their young master, Yi King, suppressed the class just like Yunmu did for the Supreme Saint in the Tower of Glory. Yunmu says he will get that thing before them. Ruochen coughs and asks Yunmu if his sister is okay and if he can help him ask her out. He is shocked and calls Ruochen names in his mind. He starts cutting trees to cool his temper. He tells his friends not to mind him as he is in a bad mood and wants to chop something. Ruochen asks him why he is walking while cutting things around. He is like a kid who loses his temper. He replies they do not need to care about him. Suddenly, he notices movement in the bushes, and a giant snake appears. But Ryuachin punches it using the Heaven Devil Dragon Punch and beats it. He tells others to be alert as they have a lot of monsters, so they must be careful. Yunmu says he had not seen him for a few days, and he got better a lot than before. He thinks that this place is excellent for the shadow spirits to train. He asks the system to resurrect numbers 1 and 2. The system uses 2,000 experience points and successfully revives shadow spirits. Yunmu is looking at those broken pages. The words on them do not look like human writing. He thinks only ghosts will understand this. He doubts if his 5 million has gone wasted.